Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I am your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and do we have a lot to cover from this past week with Ballerina, a Summer Game Fest, and a whole bunch of bidding wars for massive, iconic franchises. And I must say, in the past week, it has been a big week. We've dropped our review for The Karate Kid. We've dropped our review for Bring Her Back, especially if you haven't seen it already, a Karate Kid and Bring Her Back, we all kind of know what Karate Kid was going to be, and it lives up to that, which is fantastic. But if there's another movie that I highly recommend you go check out, if you're a bit of a horror fan, is Bring Her Back. Now, this was a movie that completely exploded my expectations on what a horror film was going to be, especially when you get to the end of it, you're just basically, oh my God. And no joke, just oh my God, and I want to cry. That is essentially what Bring Her Back is. It basically takes your horror genre and goes upside down. Not so much of just like, yeah, I'm glad the hero won, or I'm glad the bad guy got. This is more like, I just want to go home and I just want to hug my entire family and tell everyone they love them. And it's not me being, being like, oh my God, that's outrageous, or that's not really the point. Trust me, Bring Her Back is that. And it's also an Aussie film, so definitely go check that out as well. But as I mentioned, there's Karate Kid, and we've got a couple more premieres coming out the next 5 premieres coming in the next 2 weeks, which I can't wait to share with you guys what they're going to be and what we're going to be talking about. So as always, I've already cracked open a can, and I hope you are too. So get ready for another ranting session, as we're going to be talking about, as I said, all the big news that's happened the past weekend, especially the Summer Game Fest, and we're going to get into the latest action blockbuster to grace into the world of John Wick, which is Ballerina. So without further ado, let's kick this off. So one of the very first games that got announced in the past 2 days for Summer Game Fest was a brand new James Bond game called First Light, which will pay as a prequel or origin story for James Bond. The closest thing in live action media or video game media that we've got to James Bond is Casino Royale, which essentially at the beginning of Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, it's like his next mission is he is a 007, but that's the closest bridge we get without his backstory. So we're going to be seeing it in this video game form, and not to mention, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was looking going, this looks very familiar. He looks same guy who played Dexter in Dexter Original Sin. We were playing James Bond. The game looks good. It's been a mix of like Uncharted and a little bit action in that kind of sense. So look, if it's anything like Uncharted, I'm all in. It feels like it's been ages since we've had a James Bond game, and we're finally going to get it in this format, which looks so good. And it's probably not a game that I was looking at going, wow, I really need a new James Bond game. But seeing this, I'm like, I'm in. I'm definitely in. You can punch my ticket out, and it will be going on my wish list right now. So it'll be coming in 2026, but yes, the brand new James Bond game will be arriving. And speaking of, that's one of the games, if we flip over to movies, so something that I think should have happened a very long time ago, and I was surprised it hasn't already, is that Blumhouse is acquiring the rights for the Saw franchise. Now, the Saw franchise has seen a lot of ups, it's seen a lot of downs, but the franchise is looking to have its new home in Blumhouse, which I think will be a fantastic addition to the already massive catalog of horror movies and horror franchises under their roof. But very much like A24 films, the fact that when you see this goes under this category, you're like, yep, say no more. And look, yes, Blumhouse has made some really good ones. They've made some really bad ones, but even the really bad ones is still top notch, and still like creative and different. So seeing a brand new Saw film under the Blumhouse would be fantastic to see. Something that's maybe completely fresh, a whole reset, or something that's just to clean the slate. There was meant to be a brand new Saw film that was meant to come out this year, but due to creative differences, studio writers, it's not going to see the light of day, and it's been delayed indefinitely. And with this on top, it was going to be delayed any further. So, look, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see a brand new Saw, but it will be in the hands of Blumhouse, which is a great addition. And it's something that overdue. Now, if we jump over to another iconic franchise, which I sometimes forget about like this. When you look at all the icons of horror, sometimes I do forget about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which only got its own video game not too long ago. Very much like it was the Friday the 13th game. And oh my god, it was just on my tip of my tongue. Just like the Ash game, Evil Dead came out not too long ago. Now, but the interesting thing about the Texas franchise one is that there's a lot of people currently in a bidding war for this, where we've got A24, we've got Jordan Peele's production company, Neon Light, which is the same one that made Long Legs, A24, and Netflix, and Paramount, all currently bidding for the franchise rights for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, look, to me, I would probably for the very top, it's for Jordan Peele's production team, Neon Light that did Long Legs, probably not Netflix, not Paramount, and not A24. A24 would be the three top ones I would recommend to go see this. But yeah, look, I think under a new banner, under a new production company, we could really see this franchise return to form. Like, it's been a very long time since we've seen a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's right up there as iconic as Friday the 13th. No, Nightmare on Elm Street, which, funny enough, actually, that's another Nightmare on Elm Street is another movie which it's been a very long time since we've seen that one. It's interesting because you don't want to see repeated sequels again and again and again, but you don't want to see these iconic film characters die into nothing. Like, there's something new you could bring to the table for them, especially we are well overdue for a brand new Friday the 13th. But Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger is such a unique villain on what he can do and what you can do with that format. Surely there's something new on the table that you could do with Freddy Krueger, but that's another conversation for another day. But yes, currently Texas Chainsaw Massacre is currently in a bidding war for what it will be. But you let me know which production company would you like to see take the franchise to the net for the next generation, and what type of movie do you want to see? Do you want to see a legacy sequel or just a flat out reboot altogether? Now, speaking of a reboot, well, it's not really reboots, but a boot, if you will, on something I thought I would never see the light of day, which I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know how this is going to all together. I'm just trying to imagine how creepy it's going to be. But yes, apparently a Care Bear live action Care Bears movie is currently in production under Warner Brothers. That's almost the details at this stage. So no writer, no director, nothing attached to it. But apparently they're currently working on it. And if it is, I'd say this film we'll probably see in 2026 or 2027, more likely 2027. But geez, like, how's it going to look? Like, how weird? Like, I don't know, is it going to look like we're going to do like a mashup between like something like Toy Story, or is it going to be something like Five Nights at Freddy, which we got a new poster for number 2, which is really awesome. But just how weird is that going to look? And how's it going to be? Is it just going to be a kids movie, or is it going to be a bit more modern day? That's my biggest question. My biggest question for moving forward is how this is going to shape, how it's going to look, And I always do love the fact, I think it was a Family Guy. It's like, I thought you were Care Bears. No, I'm intensive Care Bears. As he's got a wrench on him. But yeah, if you were a Care Bear fan, well, guess what? You're getting a live action movie, and it's coming to theaters very soon. No release date officially, but god damn, you guys see this and all the bears in their fashion. But yeah, I'm guessing they're all going to be voiced by Chris Pratt. You watch. Speaking of something that's not voiced by Chris Pratt, which is great, and what is a fantastic addition and one of the best news I've seen this week is Alien Romulus sequel is in the works. Apparently, we'll start shooting at the end of this year, so we should see Alien Romulus 2 in 2027, which technically is Alien 2.5 or 2. No, that's 2.8. Would you call it? Alien 1, Alien Romulus, Alien 2, Alien 3. So if you have Alien 1, Alien Romulus sequel to Alien 2, how does that? Alien 2.9. Would you call it? As much as they would love, which technically this film, it would make more sense if Alien 2 was Alien 3, because Alien 3 is absolutely garbage, and it's a horrible, horrible film, which should have never been made, especially what happened to these iconic characters. No joke. But that's sensitive, but still, Alien Romulus is one of the best Alien movies that we've got in recent times. It was very, very a love letter to the original franchise. It was creepy. It was good. And one of the best movies of last year. My top picks. All the marketing material for it was also fantastic. And not to mention, if you've still got that itch for more Alien, there's a brand new TV show, if you have been living under a rock, that's coming out on Disney Plus and Hulu on August 12th, which basically is aliens are going to be landing on Earth, but not only aliens, but other monsters as well. If you want a simplified version, basically this is all the Venoms that are going to be arriving on Earth in different kind of abilities and different shapes and everything, but all from the Alien franchise. So this is going to be interesting how this is going to look. But yes, the trailer, a brand new trailer for that actually came out not too long ago, and it looks fantastic. But yes, August 12th on Disney Plus or Hulu. Up to you. Now, can we talk about the biggest popcorn bucket you're ever going to need or have? Because holy shit, that's right. We got the first look at the brand new Galactus popcorn bucket for the brand new Fantastic Four film that's coming out at the end of next month. Holy shit, this thing is massive. Basically, if you haven't seen the photo already, this is going to be his entire head is the bucket. This looks awesome, and I really hope I can get one, especially the fact I'm going to be Europe on the time that this does drop and comes out. But this is just, I saw it, I woke up, and as soon as I saw it on my Instagram, I was like, damn, I thought the Mission Impossible one, that one was really cool, but this is just another level. And I love how the popcorn bucket has just evolved into this thing that you really want to know what it's going to be turned into. I think for the past, I just want to say past 12 months, probably a little bit longer, what's their bucket going to look like? What's their bucket going to look like? It just started this entire trend that we've seen. I remember with Dune 2, when the popcorn bucket released, that was a whole thing. And then you saw the Jaws popcorn buckets, the popcorn buckets for Alien Romulus. It's really become a thing. And, even the Superman one, there's just so much of what different, being creative. So I'm all up for this. I wish here in Australia, I don't know if I'm just missing it, but I just wish there was a bit more that you could get these really easily. Because sometimes the theater I go to is just a normal bucket. Yay, I just got a regular bucket. Woo. But yeah, this thing looks absolutely massive. I'll say that. Oh, here we go. We got Danny Boy. He's come past on the YouTube. He says, "What's crapping, Mr. Premier?" Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I still need a coin that I put that on a shirt. Now, Danny Boy, if you don't know already, this man has a brand new podcast that's coming out very soon. and I will put the links to his show in this episode that will be coming out very soon. You need to jump on that. We recently also did a shout out on our Instagram as well. So definitely, this man's cooking and he's ready to do a massive debut with his new show, which I can't wait to hear it. Not to mention, I make an appearance. So please, if you haven't already, go subscribe to the Danny Boy TV show because it's going to be fantastic. So definitely go check that out. Now, also speaking of popcorn buckets and surprises, Mia Goth will be playing the villain for Star Wars Starfighter, which is starring Ryan Gosling, which was a bit of a surprise. Mr. Danny Boy, also on YouTube, it gets good about 3 weeks in. Hey, it doesn't matter if it gets good in 3 weeks, man. Every single episode, someone needs to go listen to that, which I'll be right there to go check that out. So one of the surprising, unfortunately, things with Star Wars is it feels like it's like announcement here, announcement there, up, down, left, right, center. Let's just throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. One of the surprising ones is a Star Wars Starfighter, which will be set as a sequel to the sequel trilogy. Ryan Gosling is playing the main character, and I just his name just was on the tip of my tongue. Who directed Free Guy and directed Deadpool and Wolverine, will be directing Star Wars Starfighter, and now Mia Goth will be playing the villain. I'm all in for this. As soon as I saw the announcement, I was like, yes. What? She's a fantastic actress. She's a horror icon. She's killing it. I just can't wait to see on what she's going to do and what type of character that she's going to play in this film. So the film looks to be shaping up, and at the moment, with this announcement, is the most what's the word I'm looking for? Is the most moving forward, most traction Star Wars film that we're getting at the moment, besides the Mando and Grogu movie. There's still meant to be the Old Republic movie. There's also the Rey movie. There was also another movie that was meant to be about Rogue Squadron, and that's pretty much all seem like they're dead in the water and there's nothing. But this seems to get more traction. And then we've got Mando and Grogu movie, which I am so excited for next year, which is just going to be amazing. Seeing this old combination being and set in this interesting period of Star Wars, and a mission that's been going on since the first season of Mandalorian. But yeah, Star Wars Starfighter, shaping up to be pretty good. Now, speaking of another Disney property that's getting a new addition, Ryan Coogler has officially said that Denzel Washington will indeed be a star in Black Panther 3. Now, a few months ago, Denzel Washington did mention that in an interview when he was doing all the press tour for Gladiator. But now Ryan Coogler has come forward that he will be involved in the film moving forward. Who is going to play goody, baddie, or if he was playing the bad guy? Oh, that would be so good if he was going to be playing the bad guy in Black Panther 3. And I'm all up for that because he played such a good bad guy in Gladiator 2. So him playing a baddie in Black Panther would be great. I don't know what character he played. The Marvel is absolutely rich with characters. And, people might say, like, well, here's another. Who's this character? Who's this character? You're right. There are thousands and thousands of characters in the Marvel universe. And not to mention, there's also thousands of second versions of those main characters and different comic book runs, different universes, all the fun stuff. You remember, even Nick Fury. Originally he was white, and they did a new comic where he was Samuel L. Jackson, basically. To be honest, that was pretty much exactly what he was taken off from, especially that comic book, which the Ultimates, which is a great read, which you should go check that out. And also go check out the movies. But, Denzel Washington, Black Panther 3. Now, there has been no announcement of when Black Panther 3 will be coming out, but it's very much in the same category as Black Panther 3, Shang-Chi 2, Doctor Strange 3, that we know that is currently in active development that we will get release dates for. So the reason why we haven't heard anything is that, of course, with Avengers Secret Wars, this will end the multiverse saga in the Marvel Universe, and which then we will move on to the next phase, which is rumored to be the mutant era, and it's also very limited review that possibly the next big baddie after Doctor Strange will be Apocalypse, which Apocalypse definitely does need a redo. It's either going to have to be Apocalypse or it's going to have to be Galactus, but we are getting Galactus in Fantastic Four, depending how that ends. So, but yes, but it is rumored that the next phase will be the mutant era moving forward after the events of Secret Wars. So even when Secret Wars does end, and we're still in the same Marvel universe, is how it's going to look like with Doctor Strange 3, Black Panther 3. It's funny because when you look at these films, it's how big the gaps are going to be between these films and how much has happened with these characters in these films, which is, I'm always up for Doctor Strange. I think Benedict Cumberbatch did a fantastic job with the character. Anytime he's on screen, I'm all in. It's just a shame the fact that we haven't seen that character for nearly, 3-4 years now. And the fact that he will be in, I think he definitely will be in Secret Wars, but apparently he will or might not be in Avengers Doomsday, which I would like to do a friendly reminder. Actually, no, we're not. Avengers Doomsday got delayed, which sucks. That got delayed to December next year. I was going to say we're one less than 1 year, but no, because we're going to getting Doomsday with Avengers Doomsday and Dune 3 Messiah, which is going to be insane. But you tell me, which character, hero or villain, would you like to see Denzel Washington play in the Black Panther 3 when it finally gets announced? Now, jumping back to the gaming news for this. Now, if you haven't already, I don't know if you're a first-person shooter action kind of guy, even if you're not really big into Call of Duty, something like that, you need to go check out Mouse PI for Hire. This game is very unique. It looks fun. Not to mention the developers did mention they got tips and tricks from the guys who made Doom for all the shooting aspects. So you play as Jack Pepper, and basically you play as a detective. Something's going wrong. You've been hired, and you've got to find out what's going on. But you get weird weapons, and you basically hunt down, and you basically still take photos of the crime scene, ask questions, and see what else is moving forward to try and solve this crime. But it's very unique in its art style. It's been a very long time coming, especially when it was first announced. But it's looking fantastic. It is in that very old, classic, black and white, Mickey Mouse tugboat kind of style. And it looks really good. And so far, the feedback from generally everyone's really excited for this game. And now with the Summer Game Fest, as we find out, Troy Baker will be playing the main character. And I was saying to Mark, my mate, the other day, it was like, Troy Baker is fantastic. He is on point. 100% slap into any game you can get him into. But he's almost he's becoming like Pedro Pascal. He's in everything. He's in this. He's a Joker. He's in Last of Us. He's about to be in Death Stranding 2. Like, he's just in so many things, which is well worth because of how good of his voice actor is. But it's fantastic they've got him for this game. And it really puts more credibility, not so credibility, but, more eyes, the better. And, I'm thinking this game, I would love to see a sequel to this and this turn into a franchise. But if they only make one of this game, I'm still happy because of the fact it's unique. You can go onto YouTube at the moment and go way back to when they first showed I wouldn't say it's test footage, footage of the game where everything wasn't really built to win the latest trailer now. And it's looking fantastic. And it just looks like one of those games you can just pick it up anytime. It's going to be a great story-driven game with just a lot of action for it. Now, one of the drawbacks is that they did announce that Troy Baker is playing Jack, but no mention of when the release date is. But they have rest assured everybody it will be coming in 2025. We got 6 months to go. My God, we got 6 months to go. Holy shit. That's wow. That's wild to me when I think about that now. There is 6 months to go for the rest of the year. Oh, God damn. There is 6 months until we hit 2026. And I'm going to be 33. Oh, my God. 7 years from 40. Oh, God. Don't worry, my back is already killing me. You know that. And there's still so many great games that are coming out that are on my list. Unfortunately, I put a lot of games on my back burner at the moment until Europe is over. And not to mention looking at try and save it for a Steam Deck. But a game, now this game has been on the wish list of every fan ever since, I think, episode 1 of Invincible TV show and the comic, is that we are finally getting an Invincible fighting game called Invincible Versus. It's a 3-on-3 fighting game. That we've got a trailer for. That looks fantastic. It's coming in 2026, and I'm all for it. This looks fantastic. This is something you could basically really fill out all the characters on. But it's something that we've been wishing, we've been waiting, especially for the style of Invincible. The art style for this game looks great. It looks bloody. It looks a mess. So I'm all in for this. But yeah, it's just so like, and just when you see something, it'd be great if they did a show like a game like this, and then you're wishing and you're wishing and you're wishing and you're wishing and you're wishing, and finally we got the trailer for it, which looks great. I would love to know what you guys think about the trailer, but yes, this is coming out. It's coming out on all platforms, as it should. Also, a video game that's also getting announced that I was kind of like, not surprised, is that we're getting Jurassic World Evolution 3. Now, Jurassic World Evolution was the city building game that we got for the brand new Jurassic World movie, and then which we have gotten basically nearly every second year as the Jurassic World franchise has continued. And we're getting a brand new one that could coincide with Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, games are fantastic. It does give you that full depth of the park simulation, the drama of running a park with dinosaurs. I trust me, if there's a franchise, if someone tells me to put into a category of what type of gamer I am a city building kind of guy. Like, you give me SimCity, you give me Tropico, you give me the Aftermath, you give me Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is right up there, 110%. So as soon as it's got announced, I was like, yes, I'm in. And best of all, it's coming out this year, which I don't know, that's a no surprise because we're getting Jurassic World Rebirth. Yeah, but sometimes when these things get announced, you look at the release date and you're like, oh, okay, that's a bit far away. But no, we're getting it this year. Trailer looks good. It's interesting on the different dynamics they're going to be doing moving forward. But Jurassic World Evolution for those park building sims, you're going to love it. It's coming to all consoles, which is great. Which is so awesome, which looks great. Now, this is something that almost like it's the big mystery, the final piece of the puzzle, the final jump, if you will, in the sense that Phil Spencer at Summer Game Fest said the fact that next year we're getting a brand new Fable. We're getting brand new Gears of War. We're getting another Forza. And a game, I quote, a game that has been with them since the very start will be making its return. Now, the rumors currently right now is very small rumors is Halo 7, or what's a lot bigger that seems to be rooming is a Halo Combat Evolved remake built from the ground up that will come out on Xbox and be released on the PlayStation the same time, which I'm all for. If you don't give me the Master Chief Collection, all the games for PlayStation, and you just give me Halo 1, I'm fine. It does suck because I would love to play Halo 2 and Halo 3 on PlayStation. But if you just give me Halo 1, I'm all for it. Not to mention Halo 2 because you can do the dual weapons, which was always a very nice win for this. But yeah, so he didn't say what it was. He just said the game that's been there from the very start, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be Halo. I'll be very surprised if it's nothing else, especially for all the rumors that have been going around. And what I meant by that, making the last jump, is that, Forza's got on PlayStation. Gears of War's been announced on PlayStation. Halo is almost the missing link that needs to make that final jump. And it was rumored that it was coming this year. But if this is coming out next year, then I'm all for it. If you get Halo and, in the latest Unreal Engine, it's going to look incredible. Not just a remaster, I'm all for. And yes, people are like, oh, how many times do we have to keep going to the same game? I'm like, who cares? You're going to buy it. And not to mention, if they even gave just Halo in its original form on PlayStation, there's still going to be a shit ton of people who are going to buy it. And you're still going to make the money for it. And not to mention, we're talking about the studio that's we're talking about how we always get Skyrim on everything. And now we're getting basically Last of Us is turning to Skyrim going, you want a remaster? You want a remaster? You want additional content? You want a collection edition? You want the remaster collection edition? Come out, Nick. Boom. You've got it. And that's, I'm all for it for Halo. But yeah, Halo dropping on PlayStation I wish it was coming out this year, but we're still getting treated with so much. Treated with so much. And not to mention, Xbox announced their handheld, which looks really good. We got Call of Duty Black Ops 7, a Half-Life 3, Resident Evil. There was a lot that got announced and a lot to be happy for coming forward. Some of it, of course, is next year. Actually, there was one game I wish that we got some more information on. Oh, it's going to bug me now. It was tick, tick. I can hear the ticking in the background as I'm saying this. It's from the same developers from the original creators of BioShock. Judas is again. Yeah, they've got a trailer for that, which feels like forever. I know it's more 2026 now it's coming out. But I would have loved to go a second trailer for that. If you haven't already, go check it out. It looks pretty cool. I'm all in for it. And it'd be great to see what it's going to like. But yeah, Judas is definitely one that I wish we got some kind of trailer for in some kind of fashion. It would have been great. Is another game that I'm really got the backbone. Actually, no, that's right. Another one I need to check out. It's called not Portal Train. Portal Jump. Oh my god, it's gonna bug me. Portal Void Train. It's funny when I said, actually, I'm going to double check this. Void Train. If you haven't already, it looks like a fantastic game. I'm getting on Steam right now. But Void Train is essentially this game. Oh, is it available now? Not available separately. Void Train. Yeah, Game Pass. Yeah, see nothing really on it. So Void Train, basically, you go to train, you go into different worlds, and you basically upgrade your train with your crew, and you go to different worlds. There's so many different worlds you can go to. It looks really awesome. Unfortunately, I don't have a working PC that can play it, and I don't have a Steam Deck yet. But Void Train was announced, and it was on the Xbox. It is on the Xbox Store, but essentially it just sucks because there's no mention of an absolutely release date. The last thing was that it was going to be I got a trailer for it in August last year, but no release date of when it's actually meant to be coming. Yeah, no actual release date for this at all. Which release date? Yeah, LA 2025. Yeah, nothing for this, which sucks. Which I know, look, trust me when I say that I want them to take the time, make sure it's ready. But when I get each developer's different publisher, studios, different everything. But I just feel sometimes when announced in August, when nearly 12 months later, you think if you're going to announce that it's coming, at least give us some kind of window, being fall of 2025 or the fourth quarter of 2025, something like this. I'm like, And not to mention, I know I'm probably the last one to preach because I've been preaching about Hypercharge, which finally dropped on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation General, which I will buy at some point. I got a couple bit of coin, which going to do at some point. But and that took sweet ass time. Nearly 12 months later after its Xbox drop, which Xbox drop really did. But I'm really glad those guys finally got it on all platforms. All platforms for Hypercharge and trust me, when this is a game that, if you're not a big first-person shooter, it doesn't matter. This is something old school. It's a lot of fun. Split screen, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, Steam. It's on all of them. So definitely go check out that game. Now let's talk about the Ballerina, which is the next addition in the John Wick franchise. Now, this film was first announced in 2022. It got delayed a year. It was meant to come out in June last year because they did some additional shoots and additional shots for the movie. Now, this film does take place between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4. And yes, if you haven't already seen the trailers or anything, yes, Keanu Reeves is in it. And we will be going into Stanley William Shatner. Well, we're going to spoiler territory. So if you get spoiled, that's your own fault. But definitely go come back and check out this review. Big shout out to Roadshow for giving me the invite to go see the premiere for this movie, which was fantastic. They had like cocktails and these little cans called Bullet and Bloom Tattoo, Shake Well, serving and chilled on the rocks. It was really nice, this little drink here. Probably had a little bit too many of them, but anyway, why not? And it's been the first time in a while since I've worn a suit to a premiere. But I did. I got to take my lovely wife, Mrs. Rant, with me, and a couple of other friends. A couple of my friends got tickets too, which was fantastic to see. And this film, big thank you to them. I really, really appreciate it. Getting to see that. You also get little coins, the coins from the movie as payment. That was cool too. So this film, let's put this into a perspective. This film had a bit to live up to entering the John Wick universe. Now, we have seen female-led action movies that have done fantastically well. Red Sparrow, Atomic Blonde, that's just to name a couple. And, it's hard because I still look back and go, I watched those films, and even after watching this, I was like, well, you know what? That's exactly what Black Widow should have been. That's just what Black Widow should have been. It should have been a little bit darker, a little bit more brutal going into this, especially for the topics that they covered. And it's funny because when you watch the intro to that movie, Black Widow, it is dark. It is like Jason Bourne kind of shit, and then it dives into being a typical Marvel movie. Black Widow is one of those movies where I just wish the topic of her character should have been darker to a degree. I know, Marvel doesn't want to go too dark, but I'm like, come on, we got R-rated Deadpool and Wolverine. But yes, they didn't go overly dark, but you know what I mean. So with this movie, not to mention John Wick 5 has been announced as well, so I don't even know how it's going to be looking because Keanu Reeves is nearly 60, the poor guy. He's been playing this character for 10 years. That's probably playing this character probably aged his body up by 10 years. So if he was not feeling any pain when he was, for example, he's like in his 80s, he's going to be feeling his pain right now being 60s. Because damn, this is gonna hurt him. But Ballerina is a movie and is a movie that expands the John Wick universe. And this is one of the best things I love about John Wick is the world has so much depth to it. Just how the Continentals work, how particular fighting groups, clans, assassins can work. It's the definition of organized crime. The fact that when you stand a Continental, you could no business is meant to be conducted on the Continental, or you will die. Which we saw in John Wick 1. The use of the money, how the world works, the high table. And that's one of the best things I love about the John Wick universe is that people will go, oh, it's just a shooting. It's just a shooting movie, it's just it's a massacre. We've seen this time and time again. No, there's just something very unique about the John Wick universe that is in that upper echelon when we talk about these type of movies of Jason Bourne or James Bond. It's just on that type of level, and it's just such a world in depth going into it. Now, yes, we did get the Continental spinoff, I think 12 months ago, which was, that really did not hit the way I thought it was going to. Especially, you find out that apparently Keanu Reeves and Chad did make notes for it. They were ignored. And that's what we kind of got. So there was a little bit of not sour taste, but how was this film going to work? Especially with John Wick 4, which was fantastic. And not to mention, when you found out the movie got delayed, it really starts to put in some doubts about the film. And especially when being announced with Ana de Armas, because I always stuff up her name, playing as the main character, which we have seen her do action before, again in James Bond, but seeing what she's going to do in this film. So this film starts off with her as a kid, her dad, unfortunately tries to leave a particular group, if you will, which he dies. She gets picked up by Winston, which it's great seeing these characters back, especially Lance Rick, which RIP, this is his last filming role before his time in passing. So I'm glad he could be in this and seeing this character. And then she's taken to the Ballerinas. Now, the Ballerinas we saw in John Wick 3 when John Wick tries to get his past. When he tries to get his past out of the country due to what's happening and punches his ticket on the group that basically adopted him. Now, we see that they do have a brief, Keanu Reeves and as character Eve do interact very briefly at the very start, which then leads to their head-on collision. And basically, she becomes a weapon of vengeance because she wants to find out what happened to her father. And that's how it leads into all this and how she becomes a killer and how she becomes the next as John Wick. But we know they're going to want to turn this into a franchise, which they have announced there will be a sequel to this. So spoiler alert, there's going to be definitely a sequel to this. But and of course, she finds out who the group is that killed her father, and she goes on this entire tangent to go find it. This group kill the leader to make for amends and find out what happened. And deals get broken. She's not meant to do it. She goes against her group, which you are not meant to do. And you find out about the other group, the old tribe, that apparently have no rules and kill whoever who they don't want to interfere with. And these two groups actually had a complete truce. But Eve is going to muck it all up. And to help with the situation, the director sends Keanu Reeves, John Wick, to help with the situation. Which we do get a little bit of fight scene between Eve and John Wick, which could have been more. I wish it was kind of a bit more intense, but it's a bit brief. But don't get me wrong, you do get some John Wick action in this, which is fantastic. There's probably a little bit more comedy in this film than I expected. Just little bits, pieces there. I was like, oh, I don't remember that being that much comedy. We get to see the Prague Continental, which is fantastic and looks cool. Again, that's what I love about this world. And this turns into one massive fight up in the mountain snowy hills, which is just some of the action scenes are typical, but then we get some action scenes where they've actually used pump action flamethrowers, which turns into a massive fight. I was like, that's fucking awesome. I haven't seen anything like that, which is great. And you do see in the trailers, and they just go at it. And then, of course, she does kill the leader. Finds out she also has a sister who did die as well. Why her dad left her, and she does a fantastic job with this character. You feel the emotional weight. You can see what she brings to the screen. Not to mention, at the end of this, I'm sure her body would be absolutely broken if she was real. And what happens at the end is she returns to New York, watching a ballerina show of one of her other ballerinas that had quit because she couldn't. Apparently she got told she can't handle it, and she just wanted to be a ballerina, not be a hitman, essentially. So we get to see that, and then a price has been put on her head, with very much the ending ends probably very similar to the second John Wick, where the bounty and she goes on the run and all the phones go off. So not as intense and like, oh my God, but still we get to see everyone's phones going off and then she's going to be on the run in the next movie. So the plot of the film is not the strongest. Yeah, it's not the strongest suit, which is not where you go into these films. It's tale by numbers, if you will, but it still gives you enough on how you would feel emotionally, what happens if your father passed away, why you become a weapon, what you're trying to fight for, different clans, different hitmen, what they can do. You can be whoever you want. And that film just serves that very well. There's a fantastic action scene, a set piece in the middle early of the film, and nightclub, which we get to see Anna do a great job. So the action is there, but this is one of my things. I felt like this looked good. The story was semi-solid, but when you go, if someone tell me, like, if you go back and here's all five films, so John Wick 1 to 4, and here's Ballerina. Ballerina is probably the last one I would go back to. I probably will still go back to John Wick 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then Ballerina before I go back. Look, it all does a fantastic job as a woman action movie. That's not in question. But you're here kind of for John Wick. Like, how is Ballerina 2 going to go without John Wick? I'm not saying that it needs to be like, it doesn't need John Wick to carry him, but you are in this franchise world for Mr. Wick, essentially. So I'd be curious to know what's going to happen with Ballerina 2, what direction they will go into with Keanu Reeves, because I highly doubt, well, he's not going to appear in it at all. I highly doubt he does for anything. But again, here we go with John Wick 5, so I don't know how it's going to look or what's going to be happening. But this film does deliver. Does it deliver what we've been used to? Probably not the same degree, but it does fit into the John Wick. It doesn't feel out of place. It does fit into the John Wick overall universe. Fantastic. And it does fix that gun fu itch you're looking for in that sense. So it is an absolute winner from me. From start to finish, this film is absolutely solid. It's not going to break box office records. Hell, the movie was only done on a budget of $90 million, which is pretty good. Currently, it's actually made $51 million at the box office. But if you're looking for one action film this week or this month to go check it out before it leaves theaters, definitely go check out Ballerina. It does fit the bill. You won't be disappointed. It's going to feel it. It's just the fact that, like as I mentioned, you're not really there for the plot and the depth. You're there for the characters. You're there for the unique action scenes, which it is. There's actually one scene where she taps a knife to a gun and basically just goes nuts with it on some people. You're just like, God damn, that is impressive. Like, that's just different. And that's one of the things that I love about these films is just seeing different action scenes and what you can do with different weapons. And that does fit the void. So trust me, your unique killing style urge or want will definitely be hit in this film. But I want to know, what did you think about the film? What didn't you like? What did you like? Please let me know in the comments and let's chat about it. And most of all, let's chat about what we want to see in the next one, which I want to see the action turned up even more. I want to see her full become a hitman, very much like John Wick 2, where she has to go on a solo mission where basically she's like getting her ass kicked every 2 seconds, which is a little bit what she sees in this. A little bit where we get asked to hand to her again and again and again, but it's well worth it. So definitely go check that out. But yeah, let me know what you think, and it was a good time. And as always, I appreciate everyone who comes and listens every single week. It comes past on YouTube. Always appreciate it. And until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next